So I'd like you to meet my good friend here, Amyn.
Hello, everyone.
Amyn is a Googler. He works on product marketing for global partnerships. He loves basketball, and he is a big taco guy. And not only is Amyn amazing, but Google is amazing. And what you may not know about Google is they actually have 8 core products, and within those core products, over 1 billion users each. And it's all powered by Google Cloud. And what makes that so great is it's a huge competitive edge to speed and agility and security. Now, Google is so amazing that Salesforce actually runs on Google. In fact, Google Cloud is one of our preferred cloud vendors, and we also have over 30,000 employees that run on G Suite. In fact, my entire day is in G Suite. How many parents do I have in the crowd? So maybe you can relate to this. I start my morning every day at 5 a.m., and I have a 16-month-old, and I have this very sliver of time before I hear her calling my name. Granted, she still calls me Dada, so we're working through that. But during that time, I'm laying in bed, and the first thing I do is I grab my phone. I look at my Google Calendar, and I want to see how my day is stacking up and what I have going on later in the morning. I then jump into Gmail. That's where I want to get ahead on some communications. And before I know it, while I'm taking my daughter to daycare, I'm already engaging with my colleagues in Google Hangouts. Now, once I'm at work, my browser is filled with Google tabs, from slides to spreadsheets to docs. This is a core function to how we collaborate across Salesforce. It is part of my everyday. In fact, I probably have way too many browser tabs open, all in Google. And at home and the evening, I mean, at work's kind of crazy, so I do try to strive for some work-life harmony. So I also limit my screen time. I don't know if anyone used that feature on your phone. And what I found so funny recently this weekend is I'm actually down 34% this week, so that was awesome. And so I was down in social media, but I was up in productivity. And when I looked at my top 3 apps that I use, it is Gmail, Calendar, and Hangouts in that order. Instagram was a close tie for 3rd, but I can't completely get away from social media. So needless to say, Google is amazing, we run on it, and I consider myself a Google super user.
Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction and for saying all those kind things about Google and, of course, revealing my taco obsession. So I want to take a moment before we move forward to introduce my good friend Elizabeth, but we call her Emacs, so I will refer to her as Emacs the rest of the presentation. Emacs works at Salesforce, and she runs marketing for strategic partnerships. And since she works at Salesforce, she is a trailblazer, of course. She is also an avid horseback rider, and she's a floral wreath maker, which I think is going to bode really well for my future country house, right? Thank you in advance.
You're welcome.
And she also loves tacos, so it's no wonder that we get along really, really well. We'll get back to tacos later, don't worry, I promise. But for now, I would love to refocus our conversation on Salesforce for a moment. We're at Google Cloud Next, and we want to make sure that we take a couple moments to introduce Salesforce if you don't know them, and to talk about what they're really enabling for organizations all around the world. Salesforce at its core is really its mission is really to enable meaningful customer experiences with their customer success platform. And it goes well beyond core CRM. You may know their flagship product, Sales Cloud, but they're also leaders in customer service, in marketing, in commerce. And Salesforce is also no stranger to numbers in the billions. Similar to Google having so many billions of users across our core products, Salesforce is powering billions of emails every single day through Marketing Cloud. They're also powering billions of sales opportunities created in Sales Cloud every single day. And it's no wonder that Google also runs on Salesforce. Salesforce is really integral to how we connect with our customers at Google. As a marketer, I often think about how can we run the most strategic and effective campaigns so that I could pass on qualified leads to my sales counterparts. All of that is powered by Salesforce. As a seller inside the organization, you're not thinking about how can I only acquire customers, but you're also thinking about how can I continue to foster those customer relationships and continue to onboard them and increase their consumption over time. In short, without Salesforce, we wouldn't be nearly as effective in terms of what we do and being able to deliver amazing customer experiences.
So that's why we're here today. We have Google and Salesforce coming together in a strategic partnership. So we have customers all over the world, but there are still problems with the way that people work. So let's take a look at a few of those things. First, I want you to think about yourself as a consumer. We all have brands that we love. Mine personally is Banana Republic. In fact, my entire outfit is from BR. And what I love about Banana Republic is they know me as a person. I don't just feel like a number. They know that I am a Lux card member, so I get special emails to have these secret deals in store. I get text messages that are personalized to me that say, hey, Elizabeth, you have $5 in your rewards based on a recent sale. And in the middle of all of this, what really keeps me coming back is that it's a meaningful experience because it's personalized. And that's what consumers want. And in fact, 57% of consumers switch to a competitor brand because they provide a different experience. Let's think about what that means now for the sales rep.
Yeah, so as Emax mentioned, it's all about being able to build those meaningful customer relationships. And oftentimes, it's those sales teams that are at the front lines of really being able to build those relationships. But we also know that sales teams are inundated with things like managing email, finding the right person to contact, and following up on tasks, especially as sales teams get more and more data-driven. Overall, productivity takes a hit, and they're not able to spend as much time with their customers. And we found in a recent survey that 66% of time is spent not selling. So only 34%, less than half of a seller's time, is actually spent building those customer relationships. That's less than 2 days a week of doing what is actually core to their function at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, they can't serve as that trusted advisor. So as a result, it's no wonder that reps are struggling to hit their quotas. In that same survey, we found that 57% of sales reps expect to miss their quota this year. And we know that sales reps are living more complicated lives than ever before. They've got tons of tools and data in silos. They've got tons of tasks to follow up on. And they can't actually collaborate together in a meaningful way. And we also know that sales teams that work together, sell together, also win together. So we knew that between Google and Salesforce, we've got a ton of customers who spend a lot of time in our platforms. So what could we do to bring those platforms together more closely in a meaningful way to give time back to our joint customers to spend time with their end customers?
So we announced a strategic partnership just over 2 years ago, and it's focused on 2 pillars. The first pillar is all around productivity. This is everything that Salesforce platform is integrating with G Suite and Google Cloud. The second piece is all around more personalized journeys, and that's integrations that we are doing with Marketing Cloud and Google Marketing Platform with GA360. But it just explodes from there. We have so many different benefits. And if you really think about all of the products that both of our platforms offer, we have really deep portfolios, and we just keep layering on top of it across our entire platforms. You want productivity, you got it. You want analytics, you got that too. You want to optimize your website? Of course. I'm starting to feel a little bit like Oprah, like you get a car, you get a car. We have so many things that we can offer you because our companies are working together. And it's really amazing for you as our customers and for your customers. So let's dive into that a little bit deeper.
Yeah, so now that we're all on the same page on the core pillars of the partnership, I want to spend a little bit of time to talk about some of those integrations that we've been able to bring to market and how you can get started with a lot of them today. So let's start with productivity. One of the first integrations that we introduced was the Salesforce Gmail integration. And this one's incredibly powerful, and a lot of our joint customers are using this today in a really meaningful way. What this integration allows you to do is bring a customized version of Salesforce right inside the Gmail UI in the form of a side panel. It's a free Chrome extension that you can go out and download today and get started. What this enables you to do is work in context of your customer, such that when you're working through email with your prospects and your customers, you've got all the relevant cases, opportunities, leads, all that information that lives inside Salesforce now right inside that Gmail UI as well. Again, some of our largest customers are using it, and we'll tell you one of those stories later on. Similarly, we also have been able to connect our calendar and contacts applications throughout G Suite and Salesforce. What this allows customers to do is to be able to take all their contacts and sync them across the 2 platforms, so you don't have to worry about which person you're emailing and having the right contact information and all that. But more importantly, with Calendar, an enterprise sales rep can now get in front of their customer and follow up on a lead. And they don't have to then go back in Salesforce and manually mark that task as complete. Similarly, inside sales reps and inside sales organizations in general being very data-driven, now management teams can see that cadence of tasks that are being followed up on without the rep having to actually manually mark anything, and also increasing the quality of the data so that, again, management teams know what's actually happening at the end of the day. An integration that we launched last year at Next 2018 is our Sheets integration with Salesforce. This one is incredibly powerful, and I'm happy to say that we have over 500,000 installs to date. And I've had customers come up to me personally and tell me how amazing this is from a productivity standpoint. In short, what this allows customers to do is to be able to quickly import data from Salesforce right into Google Sheets and use all of the powerful spreadsheet capabilities in Sheets to do things like updating your forecast, reassigning leads, adding and editing data, and then with just a few clicks, being able to upload and sync all that data right back into Salesforce. No longer do you need to manually go through and click each record inside Salesforce to update your forecast or what have you. You can do that all inside Sheets, and with a few clicks, just sync that right back into Salesforce. And finally, with Drive, we've been able to connect Google Drive and all the benefits that you get from that and attach that to all of your Salesforce records as well. So for example, if you've got pitch decks or customer contracts, none of that actually has to sit on someone's laptop, which could be unsecure or could get lost or stolen. You can now attach all of those documents that now live in Drive to the records in Salesforce so that everyone who's working through that record is working off of the same information and not having to deal with things like version control. At the end of the day, all these integrations are very powerful on their own, but together they really enable teams to work more closely together and also spend more time building customer relationships, as we've been talking about.
So there's two things that you said that really stood out to me. First is connect, and the second is data. And that brings us to our integrations with Google Marketing Platform. It's all about the data, and data that we've never had access to before. These integrations with Marketing Cloud, for example, if we were going to send out an email campaign, we know everything that happens within that email, how much time they spent on it, when they opened it, but as soon as they left that email to go to other tools, such as YouTube or on a browser, we've completely lost visibility of them. But now, with our integrations with Google Analytics 360, all that data becomes available to you. Now you can see the behaviors across so many different tools, and you can create these more personalized journeys. But of course, it doesn't stop there. We also have this integrating back into Sales Cloud. So now it's so great for the sales organization to actually see how these behaviors are performing to help affect sales. And it's so important to us that we have this opportunity to integrate that Salesforce actually resells Google Analytics 360 to make it a seamless buying experience for our customers.
So now that we've shared with you a little bit more about our integrations, we want to tell you a story about one of our big joint customers who's really leveraging Salesforce and Google together in a meaningful way. Nielsen, one of our big joint customers, and is leveraging both Salesforce and G Suite together to be able to enable their sales teams to work more closely together and also connect with their end customers. If you don't happen to know Nielsen, they're a global information and measurement company providing market research insights and data about what people buy and watch. With G Suite, they're getting a modern way of working across all 50,000 employees inside their organization. And with Salesforce, they're getting an enterprise software platform to be able to manage all of their sales processes. Together, though, with these integrations that we talked about, with just a few admin configurations, they're able to now enable their employees to leverage these two platforms together. And the combined effort of that has been such that they can give back 2 hours per rep per week away from spending time on manual tasks and 2 hours back that they can spend with their customers instead. That's over 100,000 hours in total per year just by leveraging a couple of these integrations that they can now spend with their customers instead of administrative duties. But now that you've seen a little bit about our integrations, you know one of our customer stories, we want to take this a step further and actually bring this to life for you. So, Emacs, take us away.
Okay. So to show you how it all works, think about yourself, leaders in this room. The decisions that you make are really going to impact your business and the digital transformation that you're going to be going through. From what you're going to be purchasing that's going to help solve for productivity and building out those meaningful experiences. So to show how that brings it all to life, we first want to introduce you to the brand Northern Trail Outfitters. Also consider them as NTO. NTO is your typical retailer that sells gear from sleeping bags, hiking, boots, apparel, anything and everything you need to be outdoors and have an amazing time. They have stores all across North America, and they also sell online. And the big part of this is that they actually sell to other retailers. So examples like Target or other big box retailers, you'll also see them there. And they're gearing up for the spring, and they're very excited. I think we're all excited for spring. We've had a lot of rain lately, and they have some new product launches coming. So, Amyn, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, as Max mentioned, it's been a long winter, and if you were here yesterday evening, it feels like we might still be in a little bit of that winter weird weather. But we're coming out of winter, and we're gearing up for the spring and summer seasons, and we've got this new tent product line that we're launching. Sarah, our sales rep in this case, is really, really excited about this, and she's excited to work with all the retail counterparts in her Northwest region, and she was responsible for about 30 stores, to be able to get these tents out there in the world at these big box retailers and to be able to engage end customers as well. And this year, she's got some new tools in her toolbox, which she thinks is going to make all the difference in making this launch successful. So prior to Google and Salesforce, Sarah was facing a lot of similar issues that we see across organizations. She was spending too much time on email. She was spending too much time creating follow-up tasks. In short, she couldn't actually spend time doing what is core to her function, which is building customer relationships and selling to these organizations. She needed a new way of working to be able to collaborate internally, not only with her counterparts, but also with her store managers, and also to be able to measure success. So what are those new tools in her toolbox? Well, of course, Google and Salesforce. So let's see what this actually looks like for her. So Sarah's going to start her day in Calendar, as many of us do. She sees that later in the day, she's got a meeting with her manager to talk about the forecast for this new product launch. So she's really feeling really good about this, as I mentioned, and she wants to update her forecast so that she can share this with her manager and get buy-off on these bigger sales targets that she wants to set for herself. So what is she going to do? She is going to import the current forecast data from Salesforce into Google Sheets. And as you can see up here, with just a few clicks, she's able to download that information, and it's going to populate. And she's going to be able to update the forecast for all 30 stores instead of having to manually click through each record in Salesforce. Once she updates that information in Sheets, she can also quickly spin up a few charts and graphs for her meeting later that afternoon with her manager so that she can get his buy-off on this new forecast. She also knows that she's going to need to work with her marketing counterpart internally to be able to set up a campaign to make this launch as successful as possible.
So let's meet Molly. We have Molly, the marketer. She runs in Salesforce Marketing Cloud every single day. And she meets with Sarah. They both want to be successful. So she suggests that we do a special campaign just for these big box retailers. In order to set that up, Molly does this in Salesforce Marketing Cloud in Journey Builder. So she's going to help setting up a journey that she's going to send to these big box retailers. And based on the behaviors and how they react within this email campaign, this will help surface leads for Sarah. This is now going to also help by nurturing these campaigns and seeing how she can set up those meetings to start selling this new product. But to set Sarah up for success, she also wants to provide her with some other marketing assets. And she has all these assets, of course, living in her Google Drive. But what's so great about this is she can, with our integration, link directly to Salesforce and tie assets in Google Drive directly to an account. So now Sarah has everything she needs, all of her marketing tools to follow up with these leads and really go deeper with them on this new opportunity.
So now that Sarah has all of these qualified leads from the campaign that Molly just set up inside Salesforce, she's going to go into G Suite, or specifically Gmail, and send introductory emails to all of her store manager counterparts and also set up meetings with them to pitch them on this new product line. She's going to be able to now attribute all of those meetings back to the Salesforce campaign without having to do anything because her calendar is now linked to Salesforce. So she goes out and she meets with all her retail buyers, and they're pretty excited about it. But to sweeten the deal, she also tells her retail counterparts that NTO is going to run an end customer specific campaign to drive them in store. NTO is going to offer anyone who engages with the initial email campaign a 30% off offer to go buy those tents in store. So what this is going to enable everyone to now do is Molly can now see those sales in the campaign in Salesforce, and she's going to be able to show ROI to her management team to show the effectiveness of the campaign. Sarah can now go inside Sales Cloud. She can see all of her leads and opportunities all synced, and any sales that she made through those meetings that she set up in Google Calendar are now automatically attributed back to this campaign as well. So everyone's working off of one single dashboard and one view of the customer. No reason to go through and manually do any of this information.
The single view of the customer is really the best part of this. So to continue this and really support that now second campaign, Molly goes back into Journey Builder, and now she wants to really use those triggers. And she does that with Marketing Cloud Einstein. She's now able to set it up where a customer ends up going not only to the email, but also going to the browser. That's going to trigger for them to get that 30% discount. We know that's sweetened the deal for the sales reps, so we want to make sure that we're including this in this new campaign. And the nice thing about this is now Molly's able to understand how this is all relating back to sales. Again, going back to our integration, prior to NTO, Molly was not able to know what happens to consumers and their behaviors once they got past that email. But now they're able to see if they went to YouTube to check out a review, when they went to the website, and all of that's triggering the next best actions within that campaign. So let's see how this works out for the end consumer.
Yeah, it's great that Molly and Sarah can work more closely together, but what is the impact on the end customer? So we want to introduce you to Brian. Brian's in his mid-30s, he's a working professional, and he's also a family man. He's got 3 kids, and he's super, super excited about the spring and summer, and he wants to take his family camping for the first time all together. He's been a longtime customer of NTO, but over the winter, he actually didn't make any purchases, so it's been a few months since he's actually engaged with the brand. So that re-engagement campaign that Molly just kicked off is now going to land in Brian's inbox in the form of an email, which triggers him to go and plan his new adventure now that it's springtime. He sees that there's some new tents that are out there, and he's super jazzed about this, so he's going to click on that link in the email, which will take him right to the website to browse all the tent options. So he starts looking at all these options. He knows he wants something durable. He knows he needs something big enough for his family. But before he knows it, it's time to go pick up his kids. So before he makes his selection online, he's going to have to abandon that browser and go make sure he gets his kids. The very next day, since Brian had clicked on that email and also started browsing on the website, and with our Google Analytics 360 integration, we can now see how Brian had engaged with us not only via the email, but also on the website as well. He's going to receive that additional follow-up offer, that 30% off in-store offer to go ahead and purchase that tent. So he returns back to the website, he finds exactly the tent he needs for him and his family, and then he takes the kids, he goes in store, and he gets the tent of his dreams. And Brian's thrilled, and look how happy his family is too. They go camping, they have a blast, and what made it possible was the power of bringing together the Salesforce and Google platforms in a meaningful way to enable Molly and Sarah to work collaboratively together to be able to kick off this campaign and also to deliver an amazing end user experience for someone like Brian.
So Brian looks super happy.
He's great.
But don't forget about Molly. Molly is also super happy. She's now able to see the complete end-to-end journey from that initial campaign that she kicked off with Sarah to supporting that 30% offer in store. She's able to go into Marketing Cloud and Analytics and really see how this complete end-to-end journey has performed. So in the end, everyone was super successful, and they were able to do that with the power of Salesforce and Google.
And so what I really love about this story is that we've been really hard at work over the past year to bring a lot of these integrations to market. But this is the first time we've actually been able to tell an end-to-end story of how this works, not only from a productivity standpoint for folks inside a company, but the meaningful customer experiences that it can also drive for those customers. And I think it's just amazing to be able to now bring this all together in a really amazing way and to be able to share that story with you guys.
I mean, it's super powerful, but that's just the beginning. I hear there might be something announced tomorrow.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about some big announcement we're making together tomorrow, so definitely check out the keynote.
So there's some buzz, so make sure that you are staying alert to hear for an announcement. But in the meantime, of course you can get started today. If you haven't already, please stop by our Salesforce booth. We have 2 of them. One is down the main expo as soon as you go down the escalators. We also have a secondary space up above in Moscone South Mezzanine. You can also get started on Trailhead, which is our fun and free way to learn Salesforce. This is a way to really get hands-on with our integrations. We have that in our booth if you want to try it out, or you can follow this link at home. And of course, Amyn and I, we're here all week, so we're going to be in the booth. We would love to meet with you. Feel free to reach out to us, and we'd love to chat.